as in joint pain. Muscular discomfort, entirely up to you. If you need to stop and have a little rest, stop and rest. If you can keep it going for as long as you can. Usual props at the ball. If I don't have a ball, I can use a rolled up towel or a cushion and a band. If I don't have a band, I can use a belt, a strap, anything to assist with the leg, and then add a little resistance. So same as usual. See if you can try and find that position, especially if you're seated, that allows a space for your diaphragm. So making sure that I'm not slouching and collapsing, compressing everything down at the front. I'm trying to lift and create space and make space so that the diaphragm, the big breathing muscle inside the rib cage, is able to move. If you're laying down nice and easy, I'm just going to allow my body to relax onto the mat. I'm just going to let go of the arms, relax the legs, keep them straight, bent, whichever feels easier. And then once that you feel that you've got that nice lift, as usual, notice whether the breath is coming from the top of the chest or from the belly. If I feel that the breath is at the top of the chest, so I can feel that my neck is stiffening, my collarbone, my jaw, my upper body is tightening up, then I'm going to encourage the neck to soften, the collarbones, the front of the chest to relax, to see if I can push the breath down into the belly, feeling the belly expanding with the inhalation and relaxing with the exhalation. So a nice, calming, diaphragmatic belly breath. And then as I keep that nice, soft, relaxed breath going through, then see if you can start running that quick scan over the body. So feeling the pressure, if I'm lying down, feeling the pressure at the back of the shoulder, comparing it right and left, the pressure at the back of the hips, the position of the legs, the arms, the head. If I'm seated, feeling the pressure underneath the seat bones, the position of the body compared to the hips, the position of the head compared to the body and the hips. Am I leaning? Am I twisting? Is more weight to one side? Is one leg more open than the other? Is one arm slightly further out than the other? And then same as usual, I'm not trying to change anything. I'm just noticing where everything is and how I feel to begin with. Once that I feel that the breath feels a little bit calmer, the position feels a little bit more settled, so I feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more relaxed here, I'm going to start focusing on the back. I'm going to start going into a little flexion. So if you've got the ball, you can use the ball. If you've got a towel or cushion, you can use that instead. You can place your hands directly onto the top of the chest on the breastbone. I'm going to place the ball between the hands and the breastbone at the front there. And then the ball is just to kind of like it to give me the idea of rounding myself around. So I'm just going to try and wrap myself around the ball as if I was trying to kind of like push the ball inside my rib cage. And then I'm just going to ease my way back. As I'm doing so, especially if you're seated, as you've got quite a lot of space to play with, I should be able to feel my upper back, my thoracic spine flexing. So I can feel a gentle stretch along the spine. So the vertebrae is pulling away from each other, creating that space. And at the same time, I can feel a nice stretch across the back between the shoulder blades as I'm trying to wrap my shoulders around the ball too. And then easing back. If you're lying down, you're a little bit limited for space. And you might want to support the head. So I might just place the ball onto the chest, hold the ball onto the chest with one hand, and then with the other hand, I'm going to support the head as I try to wrap myself into the ball and then ease my way back down. So if I'm laying down, it's a little bit harder as well, as obviously there is load into the belly as I'm trying to go into that lift. Just making sure that the neck is not straining. So I'm not pulling on the head. I'm trying to lift the rib cage and wrap myself around the ball. The head is just coming with me and then releasing back. Every so often, maybe swap the arms so that you're getting exactly the same load both right and left side. 5 more. So nice flexion, and then coming back. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. So it's a little bit more movement through the back of the ribcage. It doesn't feel so stiff, hopefully it doesn't feel so locked. I'm going to keep working on it, but this time changing flexion for rotation. So I'm going to bring both arms to the front, hands together or hands apart, and then I'm going to start rotating. So I'm going to swing the arms to one side. I'm going to turn to follow the arms around, easing back to the center, and then I'm going to rotate the other way, easing back to the center, and then rotating to the other side. So as I'm seated again, I've got a little bit more space to play with, so I can turn quite a little bit if I want to. If I'm laying down, again, I'm lying on the back, so I don't have enough space, I don't have as much space, but I can still roll from shoulder to shoulder. So encouraging that gentle rotation from side to side, massaging across the middle of the back and the back of the shoulders, noticing and comparing right and left to turn. I feel that when I turn one way, it feels easy. As I turn the other way, it's a little bit more restricted. I'm not forcing, just noticing the difference side to side. 4, 3, 2, 1. And easing back, relaxing through the shoulders, adjusting the position, bringing yourself back to the center, bringing yourself back to the middle. And then now that the back feels a little bit looser, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to the shoulder. First thing, I'm going to start off with the front raise. Single arm, I'm just going to bring the arm up towards the ceiling, and then I'm going to reach it back. If I'm lying down, I'm going to lift it up to the ceiling if I'm seated up. And switching to the other side, release, and then switching again. If I'm lying down, again, I'm working with gravity, so this time it will be easier for me to move the arm. If I'm seated, I'm working against gravity, so the arm will start feeling heavy, possibly very quickly if there is a tension in the shoulder. So I might need to make the movement a little bit shorter, a little bit smaller. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to adjust it until I feel that I've got a good movement. There is no tension into the neck. I'm not leaning to the side to get the arm to lift. 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Relax the shoulders, relax the arm. And then from front raise, what I'm going to try and do is to release through the shoulder and the side of the body. So I'm going to place the left hand onto the left shoulder, left trap. And then with the right hand, I'm going to scoop the elbow in. Once I've got the elbow into the palm of the hand, I'm going to start twisting the skin, the fascia around the elbow joint. I'm going to go clockwise or anti-clockwise. It doesn't matter which direction first. Just play with it. And then I'm going to kind of like twist it in, twist it out a couple of times. See if you can notice in which direction feels easy. So the skin seems to be kind of like moving better. In which direction it feels stickier. It feels as if it's not moving very well. And then if you find that one direction feels stickier than the other, then I'm going to keep the twist in that direction. If I'm not sure, I'm just going to pick one. So I'm just going to keep that twist, and then I'm going to try and bring the the left elbow up towards the ceiling if I'm seated, to the back if I can, if I'm laying down. It doesn't matter if I can't get the arm all the way up above the head, so it might be slightly forward to the head. It's whatever works for the shoulders, so I don't want to create pain. Once that the arm is set, I'm going to make sure that I'm still twisting the skin. I can always adjust that traction, that tension as I get going. I'm going to start flexing to the right, and then I'm going to turn the head to look underneath that left armpit. I'm going to hold that stretch. Think of that nice stretch lifting all the way up that left side of the body. And then I'm just going to take a 6 deep breath here. So if I'm lying down, exactly the same. I'm going to flex to the side and then just breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and releasing back. Releasing the arms, relaxing the shoulders. I'm just going to give myself a moment, see if I can compare the two sides. Does the right side feels different from the left? Hopefully the left side will feel a little bit looser, a little bit easier, maybe a little bit warmer as well. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the right. So I'm going to reach my right hand to the right trap. With the left hand, I'm going to scoop the elbow, and then same as I did on the other side, I'm just going to twist the skin around a couple of times. If I can notice which direction moves better. And then whichever direction feels stickier, stiffer, I'm just going to twist away. One side can be different from the other, so they don't necessarily have to be the same. I'm going to keep that traction, and then I'm going to raise arms up. Same as on the other side, as high up as I feel comfortable without forcing, without creating pain in the shoulder. And then I'm just going to turn the head to look underneath the right armpit and then flex to the left this time. Take a deep breath to see if I can really lengthen and open up that right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and easing back. Releasing the arms, relaxing through the shoulders, so through the upper body. Again, hopefully a little bit more movement into the back and into the shoulders as well. And then changing the direction. I'm going to bend the elbows and then tuck the elbows into the side of the body. Imagine your elbows to be really long. So if I'm seated, I want my elbows to plant itself down on the floor. If I'm lying down, I want the elbows to plant themselves on the wall opposite. So I'm going to reach them nice and long by the side, and then imagine to be planting them on a surface. I'm going to start pivoting the arms around us. I'm going to start opening up into a down waiter and then closing back. Whether you're seated or laying down, the palm of the hands are facing towards you. I want the elbows to stay pointing in the same direction. So the tendency, especially if I'm seated, is to let them slide behind me. So I want the elbows to point down. I just want the arm to turn around. I want the elbows to stay close to the side of the body. I don't want the elbows to move away. So whether I'm lying down or sitting up, I want the top of the arm to stay in the same position as the forearm that is traveling. So imagine somebody grabbing hold of your arm and twisting them out. I want that external rotation. And then again, the movement could be small, could be big. Just make sure that I'm not forcing movement, creating pain or tension. So it's a nice, easy to the side and then back in again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. There's a little bit more movement into the shoulder. This time I wanted to try and activate a little bit down the side. So I'm going to grab a hold of the ball, the cushion or the towel, and then anything that creates a little bit of a bulk. And then I'm going to place the ball between the right arm and the right side of the rib cage. So I'm going to tuck it under the armpit there. I'm going to turn the palm to face up again. And then I'm going to start to squeeze in the ball into the side of the rib cage, just a little tension. And then I'm going to ease the pressure. So I'm going to press and then ease the pressure. Press and ease the pressure. As you keep the tension going on and off, see if you can be aware as the arm adducts, so it adds to the body, comes into the body, so it presses into the ball. I want the top of the arm to drop as well. So the tendency is to shrug the shoulder. I want the opposite. I want my shoulder to drop down. So I'm going to drop the shoulder and then squeeze in the arm. Drop the shoulder and squeeze in the arm. And then as you're going into that little squeeze, notice where you feel it the most. If I feel it across the front of the chest, it's because my arm is coming forward. If I feel it at the back of the shoulder, it's because my arm is going back. What I want to feel it right onto the side. So see if you can play with the position of the arm until you feel that when you squeeze, you can really feel it almost like a little clamp that goes from the back of the arm to the very side of the shoulder that is closing into the ball. So again, just a little tension on a scale 1 to 10 is about 4, 5. 3, 2, 1. Now on the next one, I want you to squeeze the ball or the towel as hard as you can. So on the scale 1 to 10, you're going up to that 10. So I'm trying to pop the ball. So I'm going to squeeze as hard as I can. And then from the 10, I'm going to drop down to a 3. So I'm just going to ease the tension to a 3. So something that I can hold for a while without fatiguing, without over recruiting. The shoulder is still dropped, the tension is still there, so still that 30% attention. With that squeeze, I'm going to hold it steady, and then I'm going to move the head. I'm going to start turning the head to look to the right, and then I'm going to turn it to look to the left. As the head rotates from side to side, see if you can maintain that steady tension on the ball. So it's only 30%, so it should be easy. If I feel that the arm is fatiguing too quickly, maybe I'm pushing a bit too hard. So I'm going to ease on the tension. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And easing back. Ease in the tension of the ball. I'm going to relax the shoulder, relax the arm, and then I'm going to switch to the other side. So I'm going to put the ball between the left arm and the side of the rib cage. Palm turn to face towards me. exactly the same. So I'm going to try and drop the shoulder first and squeeze the ball. Then release, drop first and squeeze. Drop and squeeze. So keeping that tension going, same as you did on the other side. Nice and easy, nothing too heavy. But see if I can be aware. Do I feel it too much on my chest? Do I feel it too much on the back? Can I try and bring it right into the side of the shoulder? So can I picture that clamp closing to squeeze the towel, to squeeze the ball? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then on the next one, I'm going to squeeze up to that 10 again, so as hard as I can. And then I'm going to ease back to the 3. So again, nice and easy. I can hold that tension, no problem. I'm going to keep that tension steady, and then I'm going to start turning the head from side to side. Same as before. Nice, easy rotation. The body's not moving. It's just the head moving on top of the shoulders. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And releasing back, easing the tension off the ball, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. A little bit more activation into the shoulder girdle, a little bit more movement into the shoulder joint as well. I'm going to focus on the legs. I'm going to shuffle the feet nice and close together. If they touch, good. If they can't quite touch, it doesn't matter. I'm going to place the ball between the knees, or the towel between the knees. And then I'm going to start pressing into the ball. So same as I did with the ball now, underneath the armpit. This time I've got it between my knees. I'm just going to squeeze gently into the ball and release. Squeeze gently and release. Squeeze gently and release. Whether you're seated or lying down, the movement to the position is the same. See if you can be aware of any tension other than in your inner thighs. So if I'm doing it right, I should be able to feel the inner thigh, the inside of the leg tensing. There shouldn't be tension on my back. There shouldn't be tension on my shoulders, my neck, or my jaw. So see if I can be aware. Every time that I squeeze, making sure that I'm not clenching my teeth, I'm not stiffening through the jaw, the neck, I'm not tensing the back. So the back feels loose. And then as usual, comparing the amount of strength, the amount of tension between the right and the left side. I can feel that my right leg is working really well. My left leg, I can barely feel it moving, or I can barely feel it tensing. I'm going to focus on that left side to see if I can encourage more tension that way. As usual, even encouraging it with the hand, if I feel that the leg is a bit temperamental today, so it doesn't understand the movement, it doesn't want to go there, it doesn't want to move there. So I feel a little bit more connected, I feel a little bit more tension there. So same as I did for the lats, the same as I did for the back of the shoulder. I'm going to squeeze the ball and then I'm going to hold that tension. So I'm going to try and go 10 first, so up to my maximum, and then I'm going to drop down to 3. So it's a gentle tension. I can keep it there for a little while. It's not going to feel too heavy, too hard. I'm going to keep the tension on the ball, and then I'm going to focus on the shoulders on the arms. I'm going to start raising the right arm up to the front, just a little arm raise, and then I'm going to bring it back down. Then I'm going to try the other arm, and then coming back. Then I'm going to swing the arm round the side, and then bring it down. I'm going to swing the other arm around the side, and come back. Then I'm going to change direction again. We're going to go one to the front, and back, the other arm, and back, one to the side, and back, and then the other side, and back. And then same as usual, it could be a little movement, it could be a big movement, it could be a shallow swing, it could be a big lateral swing. It's whatever works for my right, whatever works for my left shoulder. 6. 5. 4. Make sure that the tension on the ball is still there. 3. 2. 1 more time on each side. And release and down. Easing the tension of the ball, relaxing the legs. So giving it a little rub, giving it a little tap, making sure that the inner thighs feels relaxed enough. From the inside, we're going to move on to the outside. So I'm going to switch the ball for the band or the strap. If you're using the band, make it kind of like tight enough. If you're using the strap, so if there is no give, make it a little bit looser so you've got space inside the loop to be able to move a little bit. So I'm going to tie a little knot or a little bow to hold it in place. I can hold it with the arms if I prefer. If I can relax the arms better. And then this time, instead of working on squeezing in, I'm working on pushing out. So I'm going to keep the feet nice and close together again. And then this time I'm going to push out on the band and then ease back in again. Same as I did for the reverse, checking that the two legs are working the same. One is not doing more than the other. Encouraging with the hands. If I feel that I need a little guidance, I need to tell the leg where it needs to go and then controlling back. If I'm laying down, exactly the same. So just relaxing through the body, focus the tension this time is onto the side of the hip or side of the leg. So same as before, I'm not gripping with my back, I'm not bracing through my shoulders, I'm not tightening through the face or into the head, into the neck. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then on the last one, I'm going to push out as hard as I can, and then I'm going to come back in that 30%. So again, it's a little tension. I can hold it there. It doesn't feel too heavy. I can stay here for a little while. And then maintaining that steady tension with the legs, I'm going to focus on the arms again. I'm going to repeat the same 2 movements that I did before, but this time I'm going to go double arm. So I'm going to bring both arms up to the front into a front raise, then easing them back, and then both arms around the side into a lateral raise. Easing them back, both to the front, into that front raise, back, and then round the side into that lateral raise. And then exactly the same as I did for the single arm. It could be a very small raise. It could be a very shallow lateral swing, just to see if I can control the shoulders, keeping them down. See if I can maintain the tension into the band, maintain the tension into the legs. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, easing the tension of the band, relaxing through the hips or releasing through the legs. And then I'm going to stay with the side of the leg, but I'm going to change the angle of the opening. So this time, instead of keeping the feet close together, I'm going to shuffle the feet out. So the feet are on the outside of the knees. Again, whether I'm seated or laying down, it doesn't matter. Just making sure that there is no pain in the knee. Then once the feet are set, I'm going to start pulling out on the band. So I want to stretch the knees, stretch the band out, and then I'm going to ease it back. Now, because of the position of the feet, that allows me a bigger range. So see if I can try and use that range as I push out with the legs, as I push out with the knees. And then I know that my right leg is okay, my left leg is struggling a bit. So I'm just going to use my hand to assist that left leg, vice versa. My left is fine, my right is struggling. I'm going to use it to assist the right. So see if I can create an even movement both for right and left side. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Relaxing the hips, so releasing the legs. I'm going to undo the band. And then push it to the side, giving the leg a little rub, making sure that the side of the leg doesn't feel too tight to compress. And then I'm going to go back onto the ball. The same as I did for the outer thigh, I'm going to repeat for the inner thigh. So I'm going to put the ball back between the knees and then make sure that the feet are still wide. So they're still on the outside of the knees. So if I'm laying down, they could be like the width of the mat. If I'm seated up, as I look down, I should be able to feel the feet on the outside and the knees on the inside. And then instead of opening, this time I'm going to close. So I'm going to squeeze into the ball and then ease the pressure. So because of the angle, this time the movement is slightly different, as it's hitting a slightly different angle through the adductor and the hip joint. The thigh bone is internally rotating, is turning in, and at the same time, it's trying to drift towards that center line. They're trying to move together. So I'm going to press into the ball and then ease the pressure. Press into the ball and then ease the pressure. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Easing the tension through the legs, again, giving the leg a little bit of a rub, a little bit of a tap, a little bit more connection inside and out. Now see if I can try and use the connection to help me coordinate the leg and the arm together. So I'm going to imagine strings that go from your right hand to your right leg and your left hand to your left leg. I'm going to pull the right arm out I want the right leg to move out. Then I'm going to come back with the arm, come back with the leg, and then I'm going to pull out with the left, and then come back. So I'm going to pull out to the right, and then ease back, open out to the left, and then ease back. If you're seated on the hips, so there is no chances for the pelvis to start rotating. If you're lying down, your hips are free to move. So make sure that as the leg opens to the side, your hips are staying on the floor. So as my left knee opens to the left, I don't want my right butt cheek to lift off the floor. So however small the movement is, it doesn't matter. But see if I can keep a nice stable pelvis as the leg and the arm are moving. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And release it back, allowing the legs and the arms a little bit of a rest. And then I'm going to try one more time, but this time I'm going to work across. So instead of working right hand with the right leg, I'm going to work my right arm with the left leg, my left arm with the right. So imagine the string crossing over this time. And then I'm going to pull out with my right arm, my left leg goes out at the same time. Then I'm going to close back the center, pull out to the left arm, my right leg goes out at the same time. Come back to center, and then switch inside. So again, little movement, big movement, it doesn't matter. If I know that, again, the leg is a bit temperamental, I can use the other hand to help me move the leg, just guiding it in the direction I want to go. So one side, and then coming back. One side, and then coming back. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Relax the arms, are releasing the legs, and then focusing a little bit on lumbar movement. What I want is to make sure that there is no tension left behind my hips or into the lower back. So I'm going to start off with a little pelvic tilt. So as usual, if I'm seated up, then I'm just going to tilt the pelvis back. I'm going to tuck the tailbone under and then round in the lower back. Then I'm going to rock myself back onto the seat bones, and then I'm going to tuck under and roll back again. So encouraging that little tilt and then releasing back. A little tilt and releasing back. So see if I can focus the movement on the lower back, not the upper back. So I don't want my upper back to arch. I just want my lower back to move. And then come back. If you're laying down, even easier, even better, as you've got the floor to guide the spine. I'm just going to tilt the pelvis back, flattening the lower back against the mat, and then back into neutral again. And then as I keep that nice, easy tilt going, as usual, see if you can Be aware of what's happening to your face, your neck, and your shoulders. I don't need to tense my shoulders to move my hips. I don't need to tense my face to move my hips. Just if I can keep the upper body soft, just if I can keep it loose and just get the back going. 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, releasing through the hips, releasing through the lower back. When you're ready, if you're laying down, rolling over onto the side, and in your own time, pushing yourself up into sitting. So finding a comfortable position, something that allows you to sit upright, leaning against something if you need to, sitting on a support if you feel that you need a little bit of a raise, using the hands at the back to give a little support if you need. And then once that you feel that you're set in that position, see if we can open up the front of the body. The same as usual, I'm going to push the chest forward. I'm going to draw the shoulders back, squeeze them together, pull them down. I'm going to send the rib cage forward. I'm going to lift it up to the ceiling. I'm going to look up. I'm going to look back. And then I'm going to release my way forward again, allowing the chin to drop down to the chest and the shoulders come forward. I'm going to roll my way down. Then I'm curling my way back up again. I'm going to retract the shoulders, pushing the ribcage forward, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing back to the front, allowing the chin to drop down to the chest and the shoulders come forward, rolling down as far as you can. And then I'm curling all the way back up. One more time. Opening up the front of the body. See if I can create that nice lift. Squeeze the shoulders back, lifting up through the breastbone, the chin, looking back as far as you can. And then releasing, coming back to the front. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take a bow. Give yourself a clap. Any questions?